Sam.
That's good. Well, we're live, so good morning to our viewers. Another market mashup show here, September 29th. And we got the debate tonight. That's going to be the big thing that I think people are looking out for with these markets. I think today can kind of be a dull day with people just kind of waiting to see the results of the debate. I think personally people are kind of looking to see if there's going to possibly just be a clear winner, because I think right now the uncertainty around who's going to win the election is causing some concern right now. And that is what's going on. Dad, is there anything you're specifically going to be watching for in the debate that you think might move the markets?
I think one of the more interesting things, and they brought it up today on CNBC, is that the debate does not start till 9 o'clock Eastern time. And both these guys, I think, go to sleep before that. So it'll be interesting how they stay awake and alert for 2 hours, given their age. And the New York Times exposing all this tax stuff definitely is not helping Trump. Regardless of the legality or illegality of it. It's a pretty big expose.
Gotcha. And yeah, I mean, just to take a quick look at the markets this morning, it looks like they're down a little, but nothing really. I mean, for the most part, it seems like everything's kind of flat. And when you look at yesterday was an amazing rally. I mean, everything was up. And I know we weren't really locked in too much, Dad. We were on a walk while the market was closing, but when we looked, everything was just really strong. And then this morning, I know McCormick's, the spice company, had their earnings, and they announced a 2-for-1 stock split. So their stock's down a little on the news. There's some other notable earnings that are coming up after the bell. Carnival Cruise Line has their earnings today. So that'll be an interesting one to follow. I mean, in general, we're entering earnings season again. So This is going to be a time where it's kind of a put up or shut up time for a lot of these companies who have had excuse after excuse and have kind of been given free passes over the last 2 quarters. I think now people are going to want a more clear path as to what's going on in the future. So that's going to be something to watch. Walmart this morning announced that they're in advanced talks to invest up to $25 billion in an India-based conglomerate super app. So that's something to watch. It sounds like it's an e-commerce type website. And then Amazon today announced that they're launching a $4.99 per month personal shopping services for men. So, they're trying to basically compete with Stitch Fix, which the symbol for Stitch Fix is SFIX. We've actually never looked at Stitch Fix. Do you guys know?
I don't really see Amazon doing much in that space personally. I think Corey always makes a great point. When people are in that mode, they kind of feel devalued as a consumer when they're going through Amazon for certain things. And I think he's dead right. They have a time and place for consumption. I don't think that's one of them.
Yeah, and that kind of makes me wonder if today's a good day to possibly actually buy the dip on a Stitch Fix, which we've never even really looked or talked about.
But yeah, I think it is, Dan, without a doubt.
I'm going to pull up their chart real quick.
Anytime Amazon, they're getting into anything, or Facebook. We've seen that against Match with dating. There's these conglomerates getting into a new space, and then there being an initial dip with the competition concern off the real player in this space. It's a great buying opportunity.
This stock has not really come down quite too much, right?
I've never even looked at this stock, honestly.
Yeah, me neither. I don't know much about them. It's just one of the ones that came up on the radar this morning, so we can quickly move on from that. Another one
in London. I feel like that's why their stock was up yesterday. They're allowed to be the next 18 months back on the roads.
Yeah. And then Polaris Industries, the recreational vehicle maker, they signed a 10-year deal with Zero Motorcycles to develop and sell electric off-road vehicles and motorcycles. So they're expected to start having those out by 2021. So
Based on what those other ones do, Polaris, they're so phenomenal in off-road stuff. I'm sure it'll be a success.
Yeah, so their stock's up about $3 pre-market on the news on light volume, but that could obviously change at any point. And then, Dad, I know you've brought up this stock 1,000 times on here, but Sorrento Therapeutics, they're popping on news that they saw encouraging early results for neutralizing antibodies.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I was looking at that this morning, and this stock has been what I would call a survivor, because when we first saw that CEO on TV, you would have sold everything and gone short and just waited for the big zero. But, you know, there's obviously some meat here, because they continually are getting good results or good news from the authorities here. So I'm not poo-pooing it anymore like I was in the beginning.
So are there levels that you like? Because like when you first started talking about this stock, I think it was when it was at like 750. It's obviously come a long way since then.
Well, actually, the first time we talked about it, the stock was below 3, and
Wow.
in one day ran up to 10. And we were so amazed by that. But that seems to happen every single day now with one stock or another. But I would say right now the stock, you know, before it looks real interesting, I think it has to get through like 11 and a quarter on the
Gotcha.
buy.
So do you currently own any of that, or are you looking to pick something up off of this news?
No, I think you would only, you know, in the famous word, the new word of scalping, that would be one maybe you'd play when it breaks 11 and a quarter area.
Gotcha.
I would not short it though, because it's too, you just never know when the next announcement's coming here.
Yeah. And then Square, we don't really talk about them much on here. I know you brought up PayPal the other day, but Square got an upgrade this morning, a couple actually, and they got a 195 upgrade. They're currently trading at 163.25 market, pre-market, up about $2.50 on the news. So something.
I would be careful with that stock before getting in it. I feel like it's run the way it's run up. It's not necessarily just going to go up now because of that upgrade.
A punch in this new one, Novus Capital, I think it's called, NOVSW. This is one of these new SPACs.
NOVSW, yeah, Novus Capital. Yeah.
Yeah, this stock is up 300% so far. 200% of that is in the last 15 minutes. So,
where was this heads up yesterday?
Yeah, this is just happening.
This isn't the Martha Stewart one, is it?
Yeah, this is the one they were just talking about.
Unbelievable. Dad, can you kind of explain what these things are?
Yeah. I wish I can. I mean, the bottom line with this stuff is it's another vehicle to go public. And what these companies do is they merge with a company already in existence. And, you know, I'm not sure of the mechanics of the whole thing, but the people who do it make quite a bit of money. And it opens up a private business to the public quickly, rather than going through the whole IPO mechanism. Like this stock already has big investors like Fidelity involved, and I think they brought $100 million into the public here. This has to do with agriculture, more in the Beyond Meat world.
Gotcha.
Oh, no wonder they're popping then.
Yeah, I don't know why this name is what it is. I guess this is the old name.
Interesting. Yeah. And
I'm
then,
not sure what's going on here. Well,
it's definitely something to look at because I keep seeing more and more of these. It kind of is turning into a theme. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. But Nikola popped up on the news again. The former CEO who just stepped down for this whole fraud scandal that's unfolding in front of our eyes. There's now multiple sexual assault claims against him as of last night, which I don't really see why that's going to impact the stock at this point, since he's not even involved. I think at this point the stock's just going through its cycle of possibly being a fake company. But they're trading at $18.50 right now, down 80 cents pre-market. You know, still is a long way down if they end up being fake. The other thing that recently just came out a few days ago is that it turns out all their designs were completely just purchased, like as if we went on Fiverr and paid $75 to have somebody design a prototype for electric vehicles. They weren't even in-house.
Why don't we just start a competitor of Musk's from scratch? We could try to buy with graphics like that. This really just seems like a shell.
Yeah, I mean, that seems to be what it is. It seems like every few years there's a different company that somehow manages to fool investors and fool the public.
New Elizabeth Holmes. That's
it really is the new Elizabeth Holmes. So without
we'll get a black turtleneck on and go on the road for us.
Yeah,
if he's being accused of all these harassment charges, it could be that the company is liable because it happened while he was there. That could be part of the problem.
Gotcha. Well, yeah, that guy continues to be under fire. And then, you know, yesterday, certain stocks had some massive days. I mean, Virgin Galactic, I know we were talking about them a little. They look like they have another bid this morning to take it higher. I wonder how much of this is just shorts getting squeezed. I mean, they're basically starting some sort of, not even trial flights, but they're just, I guess, giving people a way to like do the model flights. But this company is such a speculative.
It's still too early. It's hard to jump on this more than just that, like as a fun, like, oh, we're going to space soon. I feel like that's just not, there's no way to really own that with any conviction right now.
Yeah. The one thing that I will say is last time it went on this run, and Travis and I were looking at this last night, actually. It ended up being a 2-day run where they did the same exact thing like 2 months ago, and they went from 18 to 24 in the matter of 2 days. And yesterday might have been the beginning of that. Today, it looks like it could be another massive day for space. They've already traded over 700,000 shares pre-market. They're up, you know, almost 50 cents. They're about to hit 21. This is going to be a stock to watch today for sure.
It did get to 21.44 earlier this morning. So
that'll be an interesting level to watch.
Yeah, for pre-market, usually these things. Well, yesterday it actually came off right before the opening and then never looked back. So I don't know. There's no pattern here.
Yeah, and obviously the DraftKings and Penn saga continues where they just go up every single day. And, you know, that looks like to continue today. Penn definitely seems like the weaker name of the two. But, I mean, DraftKings has just been on fire lately. And it seems like it's all everyone's talking about on TV. They're trading at over $57 right now after, like I just said, another massive day yesterday. So,
you know, it is remarkable. You have the Stanley Cup playoff finals. You had the NBA finals.
Over.
Yeah, but now you got baseball coming into the World Series. You got the Preakness. All these events that are spread out over a year are suddenly within a month and a half. And it is a gambler's world here because people are still pretty much stuck at home. So I do understand the thinking behind it. The question is, what happens when the World Series is over? I guess the NFL continues, and that's the only
They
game.
must have some new sports starting we've never heard of. That's all I can think of with this. Dan, can you pull up Spotify? I've had my radar on them. I'm going to be buying some today. I haven't been in this in a while. It's gone on. It's taken quite the dip.
Yeah, I bought some, actually. It's funny.
Did you? Yeah. I'm thinking this is a good buying opportunity for our viewers here. I was waiting for it to, fall off a bit. I didn't want to get it around its all-time highs. I'm feeling good at looking at these charts here, and I like how it's starting to act again.
Yeah, so was the high on this basically at 293?
Yep.
299, almost 300, 299.67.
And it's Spotify. I mean, when you really look at what this these guys are set up for. I pay for this monthly, and I'm always a rule of thumb of you buy stock wise what you use. I'm on Spotify every day, and I'm gonna be jumping on this today. I think this is set up for that. The fall, the winter. It's not going to obviously matter with the seasons. If anything, more people will be tuned in.
I bought a very small position with the thinking that I would get much bigger if it got down to about 200, because this chart scares me. But, it may not fall down there.
It doesn't scare me here. It scared me getting in at like 280 something. Here, I'm like, the downside risk here to me is limited. Maybe it goes down a little more, but it's a great long-term holding. This is a tech.
They're also, making a lot of aggressive moves in all kinds of industries. They obviously signed that deal with Joe Rogan a few months back.
And Dan, as we know, having a podcast and this here, the Rolland Mashup, our bootstrap, this is just in the infancy of podcasting. I don't even know where this universe is heading. It's going skyrocket up, though, in terms of where we're shifting with even businesses being built off of podcasts. So I really think these guys are set up for a nice run in the future. Wouldn't shock me if this is a $500 stock in a couple of years.
Yeah, I like it. And, to keep it in technology, a couple other stocks that we talk about a lot here that got upgrades yesterday, Snapchat and Pinterest. They continue the rocket ships that they've been on. Pinterest over 41 now.
Pinterest is a phenomenal story. I mean, whenever you have a women-based demographic like that who make the decisions in the household when it comes to these things, this is game-changing. And they haven't even tapped into their revenue potential yet.
Yeah, I love Pinterest. I love their stock. Wow, I haven't checked on Fiverr in a couple of days. Look at it, over 140 now. Man, we started talking about this stock when it was at $20. I wish I
should have just held it at that point.
Just held it. As soon as the pandemic started, I thought it was just going to destroy Fiverr's small business revenue, and it did the opposite.
I got brought to light their model in a way.
But what a run they've gone on. Good for them.
I feel the same way about DocuSign. I feel like that's kind of fallen off the radar lately again, and I don't really see where they're in bad shape at all here. I don't know how their chart's even looking, but I've never owned the stock. All I think the pandemic has done is put them front and center and more people jumping on as to own DocuSign.
Yeah, I like DocuSign. I don't own it. I think it's a solid company that's only going to do better and better.
I mean, who's their legit competition threat?
There is.
Not really.
Like our company uses Sign Now. That's not DocuSign. To me,
that is still like when you look at DocuSign as a whole. There's Sign Now, but the reality is they're
not just Sign Now. I mean, this reminds me of another Zoom type situation. Not Zoom. I was going to say almost a combination of Zoom and Slack, where all I hear about Slack. Then I look at what our company does. We use the free version of Slack, which is River, which is the same exact thing. I haven't looked to see how many companies DocuSign owns. All I know is if you're looking for a way to get a document signed, whether it's through your phone or on the internet, there are 1,000 services that do it.
They have a huge umbrella, though. They have a lot more going on than we realize, I think.
If that's the case, then, it might be a good buy. That's just my concern with them. It seems like such an easy concept to copy. And I ultimately really just like Microsoft as the pure play for all of these things.
Yeah, I don't think DocuSign's easy to copy at all, actually. They've got certain actual things in their infrastructure that are not just, let's start a company to compete with these guys. When you actually look at what they've been able to accomplish throughout the world, too. They have users in 180 countries. And, their customer base is large and in charge here. And I think it's something to keep an eye on. I think these guys have a big story ahead of them still.
Yeah, let's not ignore Boeing again. Boeing has had a 22-point move. And
yeah, Dad, I own a lot of it. Should I get out of this thing?
A matter of days.
And a lot of the market move yesterday, especially the Dow, was Boeing. And actually the last 2 days. So it's given up a little bit today, $1.50. But I think it was a real surprise that Europe okayed the 737 before the FAA.
Why was that a surprise?
Well, you would have thought that it would have been on the home team that pulled it off first, but that was a real concern way back that Europe was not going to go with the FAA's recommendation, and then they recommended it before the FAA. So I think that's why it was such a big move, and the FAA is right around the corner. I think the head of the FAA actually is flying the plane this week or yesterday. And after that, they're going to okay it.
So minus any terrible malfunctions, what is the real downside here for our viewers if you don't own Boeing? Isn't this a great time to just buy it for the long
run? No, there's plenty of downside. The downside is the airline industry is never going to be the same again.
But they're defense, though, too. They're half defense. So that's
it's not half defense, but
yes, it is.
It's definitely the idea that airlines are either going to order less or push out the ordering dates. And I think the concern about the 787 is out there now, which wasn't there.
Not to mention, they got the Final Frontier Virgin Galactic having 25% pop days. That seems to be getting all the attention right now. I'm kidding, obviously, but
Boeing's heading to space now. That'll be where they're heading.
Yeah, let me ask you, if any day now or even any minute we see a news-breaking headline that they're figuring out a stimulus package, which, let's be real, could easily happen at any point over the next hour, 3 days, 7 days, whatever it might be. Like, to me, I'm starting to think about what stocks I want to have right now in case that does happen, because then I'm thinking about during the heart of the pandemic when we got that original relief package, what happened? It was people getting extra money, spending it on Amazon, spending it on Etsy. I asked myself, if we get another package, is it going to be the same leaders that were crushing it in March that are going to just be the leaders again?
I think you got to love a Costco. I know we looked at what Kramer went over them. They got shit on after earnings, and I don't own them at the moment, but I've been waiting to get back in this stock. When you talk about the stimulus package, the fear of the flu season coming, people stocking up again on, the way Costco's model works, that could be an interesting play here.
Yeah, I mean, Costco is almost at its all-time high. It's not.
Well, they came down a bit after earnings.
But, part of it is like a drug, though. Every time there's another stimulus package, you need more to get the same stocks higher, right?
It's a major problem for just the long-term
Bitcoin
structure of the market.
But more importantly, I think a stimulus package, the higher it is, the better it is for a weak dollar. And the weak dollar has been absolutely part of this rally. And it's weak again today by about 0.25%. And that's, I think, what you got to keep an eye on for the major market.
So are you basically saying that you would not want to see a stimulus package? Like, what are you kind of...
No, what I'm saying is if there is a stimulus package, the dollar will be weak. That'll be good for the stock market short term. Gold will probably go higher. Your Bitcoin will go higher, Mike. And then the cyclicals will do well. And then the names you mentioned will probably have a rally, the Etsys, the Amazons.
So, like, why do you think the cyclicals would do well over the Amazons and the Etsys when people are just basically given free money again to go spend?
Well, it depends how they put out this next stimulus package.
Maybe that helps DraftKings and Penn even more. The notion of people having extra money.
Yeah, but I don't know if it'll be as much for the individuals. I don't know. I don't know what it'll look like.
I'm not getting any of this money. Where's my check? I haven't gotten any stimulus checks.
Anything that helps the small businesses is overall going to help, the cyclicals.
Charger in here. Laptop's about to die.
So you might see those names have a good rally off of the stimulus.
Mm-hmm. Anything you have your eyes on today, Dad, to scoop up? I'm still riding XI. That had a nice day yesterday. Steel.
Yeah, I think you can make money just kind of day trading the big names right now.
Mhm.
I bought and sold Apple yesterday. I think you could do that again. You just got to pick the right levels.
Or you can go with Bob's potential trade of the century and short Zoom, which might have been the move yesterday when they popped and then ended up closing down. And, if you look at the signals and the long-term charts, I mean, this stock might actually trade to the high 200s if things get kind of nasty for them. Or if things don't get nasty for them. I mean, that's kind of...
Yeah, the problem...
Playing with fire. Shorting Zoom is playing with fire.
Yeah, you're definitely playing with fire, shorting Zoom, because you could be dead right and lose 150 points. There's no reason this stock couldn't go to 650 or 700.
I know too much dumb money in that stock. I'm not shorting it right now. Everyone I know and their mother owns a ton of Zoom, except me. So that scares me a little.
I mean, that does the opposite of scare me. What scares me, well, not scares me, what makes me excited about the potential of this market rally is seeing reports that the equity that's short on the market is the highest it's ever been. That tells me that we're in for some massive short squeeze, which might have started yesterday. So when I hear that like everybody owns Zoom, it's kind of the opposite mentality. Where if Zoom has some sort of disappointing quarter and they're down 15%, that could turn into 45 in a matter of minutes.
I think we're in for a short-term rally here, guys, like this week and next week. And then I think we're in for a more shit-hitting-the-fan volatility as people remember the election's right around the corner. I think that's going to be kind of this mouse and cat game that everyone...
I think if Biden wins the debate tonight in a very obvious way and brings up a couple points that might be negatives for the market, like raising taxes, we could see a massive sell-off tomorrow.
Biden, keep in mind for our viewers, his tax policies are as friendly as they get for a Democrat. Like there's him being in office is not the end of the world for taxes.
You mean for
No, he's a progressive, and so is Kamala Harris. They don't have their tax policies are not that bad. So I think it's more my concern is the whole mail-in voter fraud hovering cloud than who's going to be in office. That's my only real worry there. Not whether Biden or Trump is in.
And that's not something that we'll necessarily get any reassurance on from the debate tonight. I was hoping that
we're not going to get anything out of tonight, Dan.
I mean, you might get like
entertainment. Get the popcorn ready. It'll be fun.
For sure.
Yeah. Are there any good popcorn companies?
Now we're talking. Yeah.
I mean, McCormick could be a buy on the dip this morning. They had pretty impressive earnings. They're selling off on earnings. I know that's a stock Kramer likes a lot, Mike.
That's Mark Roberts' long-term holding from
McCormick?
25 years ago.
Yeah, I like the name of that. Maybe I'll jump on that this morning. I've never owned it.
Yeah,
Robert, what else is going on with him? Is Voozy still in play here?
Yeah, of course.
I was looking at it this morning. It's what, at 425 right now.
I'm going to have to get back in on that. I've made some good money on Voozy.
Going back to McCormick, there's probably not a house in the entire country that doesn't have a McCormick product in their cabinet.
So how do we take a page out of McCormick's book and get our brand in everyone's household? I love where their head's at.
Sell snacks.
Now we're talking. I like that.
All right, well, let's wrap this up. Let's do we haven't done this in a while. Let's each do a stock pick of the day here to wrap it up, starting with you, Mike.
I don't really have a stock pick of the day. I like where Dad's head's at day trading these big names. I don't have a name that I'm like gung-ho just jumping on today.
I think you could see another massive rally in Virgin Galactic today. I think there's a lot of people that are probably...
Maybe GameStop, because that's come down a bit again. Maybe pinpoint it before it jumps.
Bob, what about you?
Yeah, no, I don't have anything specific. I think you have to still trim anything that has a big move, and day trade the big names is where I'm at. Keep an eye on Boeing because that's going to move the Dow one way or the other.
Keep an eye on Apple and Tesla because
even so, I'm like finally starting to just wait a little for the wind to dust off there. Like I was trying to find another entry point yesterday. It's just run up so much now that
You got
I
to
love killing
again.
Yeah.
So, all
And
right.
you're not seeing on names with gigantic volume at this hour of the day like we saw a couple of weeks ago. It seems like everyone is pretty quiet right now.
Everyone's waiting for something. So thanks for watching.